All right, folks, week 8 is here. The Vikings and the Chargers just kicked off a few minutes ago, and it is really hard to believe that the season is almost half over. After this week, we're going to be basically to the halfway point, and a huge weekend of football, both college and pro. In college, we have BYU undefeated traveling to Ames to play Iowa State. I think it's a really big game for the Cyclones if they want their season to amount to anything. But we're going to talk about the NFL right now, and I think there are two real common themes right now as we hit the halfway point in the NFL season. Right now, there are no dominant teams. And usually by this time of year, there's one team that just kind of appears to be head and shoulders above everyone. And this year, we just don't have that. It seems like any team is prone to lose to anyone any single week. And as I go through all the teams that people were picking, and I was picking before the season, it seems like everyone just has a real fatal flaw in their team or a real gaping hole. And when I go through these teams, you look at the Eagles, and they can't run the ball at all. Saquon Barkley, his yards per carry are way down year over year. Their wide receivers seem to hate their quarterback. They have a lot of issues on offense. They're just way down on offense. If I look at the Bills, they have a terrible run defense, and anyone can run on them right now. The Chiefs, they really cannot rush the passer without blitzing, and they really don't have much of a run game right now outside of Patrick Mahomes taking off with it. If I look at the 49ers, Ravens, Chargers, and Bucks, they are all littered with injuries. They have so many injuries, and some of those teams are reaching a point of no returns on the injury front. The Lions, I really can't point to exactly what's going on with them, but they just haven't been as dominant this year. And then the Packers, the team that I thought was going to win the Super Bowl after week 1, they just have been very unimpressive lately. They tied the Cowboys. They needed a last-minute drive and a last-minute stop to beat the Cardinals, and it just seems like they're so slow out of the gate. It seems like they can kind of get it going in the fourth quarter, but it seems like they just start every game so slow right now. So right now, there's no dominant team. Number 2, the quarterback redemption stories. There are 3 quarterbacks that we just all assumed their career was over in Baker, Sam Darnold, and Danny Dimes, and they have really revived their career. And I think it really comes down to some of these college quarterbacks coming in through the NFL draft these days. Most colleges don't run pro-style offenses. Maybe it just takes a few more years for them to figure it out. And I'm watching the Vikings right now, and they got Carson Wentz starting. I don't like what I've seen from J.J. McCarthy so far, and they had both Danny Dimes and Sam Darnold on their team last year and let both of them just kind of walk away. And they've got to be kicking themselves a little bit because this is a team that's really prone to win right now, and they just don't have the quarterback to do it. So it's really interesting to see some of these quarterbacks that people have just assumed their career is dead really go on to play very well. So let's talk about week 8 for a second. I think there's one enormous game this year. So the Ravens at home for the Bears. And I think this is an absolutely can't lose for the Ravens. If they want to make the playoffs right now, and right now their odds to win the division are still very high, almost even with the Steelers, to win the division, they basically have to go 8-3. Now, they have a very easy schedule ahead, but if they lose today, they basically have to go 8-2 the rest of the way, and there is no room for error in there. And right now, if I look at the Ravens, they're giving up 32 points per game, which is dead last in the NFL. Their defense has had so many injuries on it. They're almost not competitive anymore. But we'll see if they can pick that up against Caleb. The Bears have won 4 in a row, but I think Caleb has been pretty unimpressive so far. He is kind of the weak spot on that team right now. And I learned some stats here, and right now Caleb is 20th in QBR, 21st in yards, and 26th in completion percentage. He just really hasn't been that good, and the Bears are winning despite it. But I do wonder how long Ben Johnson is going to let this go before he looks to make a change, because he has really struggled in a lot of these games. So I want to get to my picks for this week, and right now I'm 10-13. I missed the last few weeks because I had some travel obligations for work, but we're going to get into my picks here. So number 1, I'm going to take the 49ers plus 1.5 at the Texans. And I think the Niners are going to straight up win this game. And did you know that the Texans right now are the first team ever to lead the league in scoring defense and still have a losing record through 7 games? That is absolutely incredible. Their offense has been absolutely terrible. Their offensive line cannot block at all. CJ Stroud is getting hammered every single time he drops back. And CJ Stroud just has not been very good. So I'm going to take the 49ers plus 1.5 at the Texans, and I think they're going to win that game outright. Number 2, I'm going to take the Cowboys plus 3.5 at Denver. And right now, the Cowboys, their defense is really struggling. They're giving up 30 points per game, which is 30th in the NFL right now, but they're coming off their best game of the season on defense. And right now, I would vote Dak Prescott third in the MVP race. He has been fantastic. I think Pickens and CeeDee Lamb together make a tremendous wide receiver core. They seems like they can score on absolutely everybody. It's just a matter of can they hold the other team down enough to score more points than them. And I think this weekend they do. I will take the Broncos to win in a very close game, but I'm going to take Dallas to cover the 3.5. Number 3, I'm going to take the Ravens minus 5.5 at home versus Bears. And their backs against the wall. This is a must-win game for them, and I think they're going to come out on fire. They're coming off a bye. This is the first game Lamar has played since week 4. I think he's going to have an absolute monster game. They're getting a few guys back on defense, and I think they're going to hold them well enough for Lamar to outscore them. And I think the Ravens are going to win in a blowout, and I'm going to take the Ravens minus 5.5 at home versus the Bears. Number 4, I'm going to take the Packers minus 3 at the Steelers. And right now, the biggest surprise to me in the NFL is how well Aaron Rodgers has been playing. I thought this was going to go terrible. He has actually been pretty good. But their defense right now, which is the most expensive defense in the NFL, is not good. And they have been absolutely torched a lot of these games. Now, the Packers have been a little bit underwhelming, but they get a couple wide receivers back this week, and I think they're going to put up a huge number on the Steelers. I'm going to take the Packers minus 3 at the Steelers. And then last game, I'm going to take the Bills minus 7 at the Panthers. And the Panthers have already exceeded my expectations for the year. But Josh Allen really has not done a lot since week 1, and he really hasn't had to do a lot since week 1. I look for him to coming off a bye to put up a huge performance. I could see a 3, 4, 5 touchdown game out of Josh Allen's, and I think they're going to blow out the Panthers this week. So can't wait to see what happens here in week 8. We're going to watch the Chargers and Vikings now, and then we'll talk to everyone on Sunday night.